Well, we're about to get real wet here. We got a real black cloud coming this way, which is good because we've been dry. Some of you will disagree with this if you're a truck owner. Maybe if you pull a trailer kind of thing or whatever. But you got to understand where I'm coming from. I'll title this. I'm not sure what I'll title this. But let's say if you drive a big truck, just like driving a big truck, and 4x and all that stuff, that's great. But I'm pointing to the people. If you're buying a truck to actually pull a trailer, whether it was a utility trailer, an RV type camper trailer, fifth wheel, any kind of gooseneck horse trailers, whatever. This is for you. So you're wondering, is this truck big enough? You're looking to get into a truck or maybe whatever. And most people, when they get into pulling trailers, and I'll say maybe not so much on the commercial end, that's a different group, but if you're not using it for commercial, you're just pulling some big trailers around. Most people tend to think of a dually, a big 1 ton. They're actually more than 1 ton, but, big 110 dually. And if you don't know, that's the one with the 4 tires and 4 wheels in the back and big wide footprint. And that's all fine and good. But a lot of times you don't need that much truck. Okay? And this is where I think people dispute. And it depends on whether you're using a gooseneck, a fifth wheel, bumper pull trailer. They're all different. But most people, what I'm making this video about, most people, when they're looking into a truck for that purpose, they want to know, does it have enough power? Is it going to be able to pull this big heavy load? Okay. Now I currently own a 2000 Chevy HD gas engine, big block. It's a 1 ton. It's actually, I think the whole package, what you're allowed, I think is 19,000 pounds or whatever. So it's a commercial. It was designed as a concrete truck. Concrete guys drive these things around, pull the trailer and all this stuff. And it's got plenty of power, as poor a shape as it is. Plenty of power to get the job done. I can tow all this stuff around. But in most cases, it's always been too much. Okay. In California, anything with a bed on the back of it's considered a commercial vehicle. The more weight you're allowed to tow, the more you pay every year in your registration fees. You may not have that where you are. But I'm getting off track. I had a Dodge, in 97, I bought a Dodge 3/4 ton, 4x, Cummins turbo diesel, crew cab, leather seats, everything but a toilet was in this thing. And I pulled massive monster loads up and down the state on a flatbed trailer with this thing. Cattle can be heavy, but I've never had a big enough cattle trailer to really be monster heavy. But I mean, I pulled stuff. They pulled me over DOT, but it shut me down right there. And honestly, it was a diesel. They're a little slower to start. You got to plan your attack. Get your RPMs up before you climb a hill, this kind of thing. But it always had enough power to get you there. Maybe not fast. Maybe not, tearing it up off the line or that kind of thing, which it really is not designed to do. I'm sure the trucks today have far more power. But the Dodge, the 3/4 ton, had all the power I needed to pull these monster loads that I was dragging around. I never really needed, even today, I've never needed this 1 ton. I've never needed the big capabilities of this of the 1 ton truck. Now, later on I bought a 2001 Dodge, same thing, 3/4 ton. It might have 20 more horsepower. But still, people are thinking, I think they tend to buy a little bit too much truck. I said, this can be debatable. The big issue is, not does the truck have the power, because pretty much everything out there has the power if you know how to drive. Like I said, I pulled backhoes with my 3/4 ton. Wasn't legal, but I did all kinds of stupid stuff like that. Somebody filled one of my bins up with dirt and brick. I mean, it can't be done. I still have the weight of it was like 21,000 pounds. It was only like 15,000 pounds over the legal limit. Still got it there. And people say, well, okay, that 3/4 ton had enough power to get it done. The question you have to ask is not so much does the truck you're looking at have the power to pull whatever load you have. The question you want to ask is, will it stop? What's the reputation for this vehicle you're looking at for stopping? Okay. The Dodge trucks had very small, had four-wheel disc brakes, but they were, big heavy-duty kind of disc brakes. But they were smaller. Okay. They were, I don't know how you say it, I want to say breathability. They were perforated through the centers where you had airflow so you could cool these things off quicker. But if you took your Dodge, either one of the Dodges I had, even in the 1-tons, because they had the same brakes, if you go downhill too fast and you let those brakes get too hot, they would basically glaze over and your pads would no longer have any traction on it. Once it got to a certain temperature, you had no brakes. So once you realize this, talk to some guys, have some experience, you realize, okay, when I'm going down this hill, I'm going to crawl down this thing. Low gear, back off, we're just going to easily roll down this thing. Wishing you had a Jake brake or something. But and I knew a lot of people that were pulling RVs, trailers, campers, this kind of thing. And their big issue was, once you got past the macho ego thing of being able to pass someone up a hill with your camper trailer, when you came back down that hill, the big issue was, can you get this thing to stop? So if you're someone who's looking for a vehicle, truck, to pull your stuff, yes, you want plenty of power. But what you really want to do the research on is what other people have had. And you go to the big fifth wheel pullers, because they're the people that deal with this stuff all day, every day. You go to their pages or whatever, and they will tell you, yeah, this one you got to know how to stop with it. Just like my Dodges. If you were just going to race down the hill and get to the bottom and all of a sudden apply brakes to go forward, you were going to have braking trouble. You had to plan, just like when you planned going up a hill, you had to plan going down. If you could plan, you had that experience and the wisdom behind it, you would not have a problem with your brakes on a Dodge. But if you didn't, you were in big doo-doo trouble. Okay? So, I don't know, I've gone off track here. If you're looking to get into a vehicle, you want to find out if it has all the horsepower and the torque and all this stuff, that's great. But you really want to research, look around, find out who has one. Does the vehicle you're looking at, what's its reputation for stopping? Because the last thing, I want to be able to get this load up the hill, but I really want to get down that hill on my plan, not on Gravity's plan. See? Because that is a frightening thing when you got some big fat load behind you of anything, maybe even over the limit, and you realize your brakes have just turned to pudding. Like I said, you got to have experience with driving, but there are certain vehicles that were notorious, and Dodge wasn't one of them. If you let them get hot, you lost your brakes. And there's certain places you just don't want that to happen. Anyhow, hopefully that made sense. Our rain is here. Will it stop? Love you. God bless.